It's a new parsha, a new year, a new kriya, a new round, and it's becoming obviously more and more evident as that we kriegt nicht daraus from the current situation other than the Geula. With all the scientists, with all the things, with all the situations, what's going on in Australia, what's going on in Eretz Yisrael now, the Kriyas Arabanim now, you saw him, I was like,
What's in that?
No, I just saw on COL today that Rabbi said that everybody must vaccinate. They had five Lubavitch passed away in the last 24 hours. Five.
From this?
Yeah. So I'm saying the kriegt nicht daraus from the ganze Sach, and yesterday I taught the Sikha where the Rebbe says that the Rebbe talks about the chiluk of it called Geshem and Mabel. So the Rebbe is saying how the same event was both Geshem and first the Rebbe wants to say that Mitzad the Eibishter, when the Eibishter sent it out, the Eibishter sent out a 40-day Geshem. The Eibishter sent out a 40-day Geshem of Gishmei Bracha. And then it turned over to become a Mabel. But then the Rebbe, later in the Sikha, the Rebbe learns that simultaneously, the entire time, the Mabel had two inyanim. His Geven was a Mabel of destruction, and it was a Mabel of, like they say, it's a mikveh. It says Beida of Ein Lo. So I think, I was just relating this in my talk that I gave yesterday, that this is mamish what we're watching in the world the last 2 years. If there's anything that we can compare it to, it's a Mabel. And we can get depressed and zahakt and zezetzt how we're not kriegen garois from this magefa, from this Indian, or we can see Mashiach. And those, but the point over here is that all this has to just drive us from action to more action and to more action and to more action. And Baruch Hashem, as you can see from the Kinus of Shluchim and from everything that people are, as has been mentioned earlier, people that the reason there is the Kinus is so. Now adapting Mashiach so strongly is because there's a sense that this is what people want to hear, and that's the biggest sign that the world is ready. If Shluchim want to hear this, it's because the communities want to hear it. It trickles. It's an outward trickle. It's because there is such a sense outside that can another. There is no other pitaron. There's no other answer but Mashiach. So the more that's happening, the more active we need to become. Because people are waiting for this energy. So that's my little piece today, my little monologue. And the question is, where do we go from here? What are we going to do? What is going to be our? I don't know how much the Kinus of Shluchim, obviously, can use the help of the Minatzchim group in this particular Indian. I think they're pretty well staffed and pretty well organized and pretty well this. How we can lend our 2 cents into it. I congratulated Shlomi yesterday, big time. But other than giving compliments, what else can we do to help intensify and strengthen and clarify? I think the Indian. Other than that, our group needs to
regroup.
It's normal that after a big event like that, there's a little bit, and especially the Yom Tovim all coming together, that it requires a regrouping. But the regrouping doesn't chas v'shalom have to be shvachet. It should come back much stronger and much more powerful than we were before. So
would it be a good idea to have something to give it out at Kinus to fellow Shluchim to get them on board?
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. If we can only put together something, a nice brochure, and with what has been already accomplished by our Minatzchim group and what we're doing and what we're seeking, and a call to all Shluchim, join us. It would actually be, what? I would think if we would have a platform by the Kinus. I remember one year, Tzvi Freeman spoke and others. They had the Akshanim group was officially spoken of at one of the sessions. I remember even Tzvi Freeman was one of the speakers. I remember it was that there are chevra that are devoted to Mashiach and they have a phone call every, what I'm saying? So that's kind of it was, and by the way, that had a lot to do also with our group in the sense that we're just taking the energy from chevra to chevra until it flares up. You keep the fire burning and then it flares up. So I think maybe we can have a little bit of a platform. I myself, I don't think
I'm interrupting you, Reuven, but remember, I think that was last year before Rosh Hashanah, we did speak about that we should make an official request from the Vada Kinus that they should give the Minatzchim a workshop of some kind.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I don't remember that. I wasn't on that call.
Yes, I do know that we spoke about it because I had mentioned it. We said that we should send out an official letter. We even said who you should ask. I said we should send an official request to the Vada Kinus and asking them. There should be, if possible, we should have a workshop. Somebody else had suggested maybe Motzei Shabbos or somewhere else.
I think workshop is too small. Workshop is way too small. If the theme,
you can have I don't know how the general sessions are going to be structured this year.
No, because if the theme this year is Mashiach, and Minatzchim is an active group, we should be given a spotlight. And
so we should be asking.
Here's another.
I think that there should be an official request going from a few younger light that are not so labeled. I mean, there should be from those who are. I have nothing against label, but but those who are not labeled as belonging, identified in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think if there would be a letter officially going out from Moshe Brisky, Mendy, and another.
Him, what's his name? You can Lang.
The more power of recognized known Shluchim. And they should ask officially on behalf of the Minatzchim who would like to have a 15-minute at a general workshop, at the general session, a Minatzchim presentation. That's one thing. But at the same time, this idea of printing a nice little flyer, a nice little brochure, doesn't have to be a 10-page brochure, but a flyer, two-sided or folded, an 8.5 by 14, folded in half, four flops. And describing what has happened, what we're doing. And we can ask the Shluchim if they're willing to allow their names to be printed, all those who are officially members in it, if they wouldn't mind have their names listed. These are already part of the group, and please join us. I think that would be something very nice.
They're very powerful.
You could put it Friday on the table. So Friday probably is the best time. Mitzvah Shabbos on the tables.
It would be even more incredible if it can go into the packet.
That would be, but I think they have a policy. I've been trying to do these things for many years, and they have a policy. They don't allow anything which is not officially Kinus.
I see.
And lately they've been going less and less and less and less things. But I think they're basically down to Dvar Malchus and to the program, basically. Because of this, because there's a lot of demands. So they kind of, I think so.
Are there any ads in the program?
Any ads in the program?
In the program itself, are there ads on there for different?
You know what? I never paid such close attention to the program. As Ratani Masker, the first thing I do when I open the program, I look for the word Mashiach. If I see it, that's what I usually do. And either I get frustrated or I get excited. But I'm sure this year that would not be an issue because the whole thing obviously is Mashiach. But if yes, that would be a nice idea. But they have a book for the fair. They have a whole book for the fair they publish. A guide to the fair. So maybe something over there. And that's a very popular book because this is where everybody goes. It's one of the most successful workshops is to go check what's happening on the fair. Everybody for whatever they're looking for, but everybody needs something, and that's what they go look for. So that may be over there. I think there are some ads.
I think we should really put in work in this, into having a presentation at the Kinus or Shluchim. That would be a big thing.
Yeah.
I think that should be our work now until the Kinus, and then afterwards we should, based on that, launch some more projects. So I think if we're going to try to
I just want to recap for Mendy. Mendy just got on. We were just thinking about doing some Minatzchim advertising at the Kinus this year.
Okay.
I also didn't realize how dependent we are on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
They changed the name today.
You think Mashiach can come today if WhatsApp is down?
Down.
Hesed Hadas.
It's the perfect.
How's everybody going to
Sneak
find
it
out?
in.
It's the perfect time.
Sneak it in.
I think that's what Mandy was going to say from Minatzchim Haroz gehabt. No question. No, but look, let's be practical about it. Who is going to ask? I think Moshe Brisky would be a good name to approach the Vada Kinus. He has to make maybe just.
Sandy might also be good. I think if you put three people, you put Moshe, Sandy, and one more. You have
yeah, but I would put somebody a little bit more powerful than Sandy. And because Sandy last year was when he was on the virtual pre-Kinus, he came on very, very strong. So he ruffled a few feathers. So
Moshe Brisky. Who else?
So let's get somebody that we don't have to worry about these things.
Maybe Laser Gurko. He hasn't been too active with us, but
yeah, Laser Gurko would be
reach out to him.
Excellent. That's right.
By the way, Laser is whenever I speak to him, he's very pro.
He probably just wants to. He likes, tachas afetish, as they say. He likes, tell me what I need to do. I'll do it. Invite the fine.
Okay, so then we have a job for him now.
So maybe let's say like this: if you have Moshe Brisky together with Laser Gurkov and Mandy is often the Rosh Hashanah of this whole group.
Yes.
Right. The face of the group, whatever you want to call it.
You haven't made any trouble yet, so you're good. Okay. So we can all for sure. This should definitely.
And there should be a request, either a phone call to what's his name, Backman.
Mintz?
No, Backman is the one who's very much involved in the program.
Simcha,
okay. And there's another one based Najjar.
Hold on. This is valuable stuff. I have to put it in the chat.
Yeah, Najjar and Simcha Backman, yes.
Yeah, these are the main people. And these are the ones who actually do the actual work. And then you have the whole committee. There's a lot of good things in the light. There's a right chick on the committee too. There's a right chick. There's an official Mashiach representative on the committee. What's his name? Moshe Wolansky from Maine or wherever he is, somewhere over there. I think he's the official Mashiach committee representative. You know who we should get active on this group, and because I a few years ago, he was the one who was speaking very passionately also about Mashiach, and I was very impressed, and I felt he was a good energy, and he's a popular shliach. Lou, how's he feeling? He was very sick. Wow, Yossi Lou, yes, absolutely. How was he feeling? Because he was out with he was seriously not doing well with the. I going back from a while back, I heard that Baruch Hashem, he was better, but this is a while ago. So I hope that now it's not better. He's back in gesund ernst.
Amen.
I don't know if Yossi Luke can be the face of it because he hasn't been active.
Involved.
We need people who have been on the. You need people that have been already part of it.
I think these two people is fine. So, what's the Moshe and Gokov and Mendy is fine. And if you make an official request, we'd like to have some kind of a platform. We're part of the program. We have what to offer. We've created a number of things.
Wait. You can also put on Marcus.
Zalman.
What?
Zalman Marcus.
Yeah. Perfect.
So who is going to take it to them? Who is going to call? The first one I think to speak to is to, actually the two to speak to is to Laser Gurkov and to Moshe Brisky. Maybe you call my first Moshe Brisky. He's in your neck of the woods.
I can call Laser.
Okay.
I'll call Moshe Brisky.
Okay, fine. And then I'll call Mandy Rubenfeld. So
Alcohol's Almond Marcus.
Because Moshe Brisky, from all the people I've seen, the one that was the most touched and moved by our last event, it was Moshe went crazy. Yeah, so he's very inspired, and I think he would love to help move this.
Okay, good.
And I think this is what we should do. If Hashem should help, that we should get that
the Geula before this.
We should get the what's it called again? We should get the Geula before that. No, I just got distracted for a second. If they do give us a platform, two things need to be done before that. Number one, we should plan out a really good presentation, both the brochure and the thing. Plus, we should have beforehand, if Shluchim will sign up, a more developed agenda going forward for the Minatzchim. Because if it's just as it's a shalshudis now, and we need to give it a little more structure.
Right.
I want
to remind that it was brought up in a very beautiful way. Two Altz was Torah, United was Tefilla, and now we need Tzedaka. So we thought it was mentioned that we should go out with an international, worldwide Tzedaka campaign for Geula. This maybe should become an agenda of.
Imagine if we can get the entire world to give tzedakah one day for the Geula. I mean, the entire world. You can get, and it's something so appealing, because it's not going to be an appeal for a particular moisid. You can give tzedakah to anything that is.
Throw it into any pushka. And
I had a thing I was pushing.
This would include Pasha the Goyim, as the Rebbe spoke then about the people that should to give tzedakah once a week. I mean, we mentioned that the companies, the owner of a company should give to their employees every week. Friday, I think the Rebbe said about giving them tzedakah. I just want to show, after the Rebbe spoke about this, I used to have once a year, a whole school coming over here, a Goyish school coming from somewhere far from Quebec, and they would come here once a year for a talk about Judaism. So after this, the Rebbe spoke about tzedakah, I asked them a question. Why is this little bank that you put in money in it, what is it called in English?
Pushka.
We call it, we call it the pushka. Lihavdil by the Goyim, what is it called?
A piggy bank, they call it.
A piggy bank. And I asked the question, did anybody ever thought why it's called a piggy bank? Why not a horsey bank, a doggy bank, catty bank? A bank, a money bank. Why a piggy bank? Nobody thought of it. I says, I'll give you the reason, the way I see it. And this is the difference between a pushka and a piggy bank. When the pushka is full, what do we do with it? We give away the money. We give it for the charity, for the cause. What do you do when the piggy bank is full? You keep it for yourself. You go pig yourself out. And that's why the name is really very appropriate. Whoever thought of it really had it very well explained, very well named, because that's what the purpose is. The purpose is to accumulate more and more for yourself. And that's when I told them, I want you each one for you. And I spoke what the Rebbe said, that everybody should give charity, and you should go. Once your piggy bank is full, do not take it for yourself. Give it for an orphanage. Give it for some, for a children's hospital. What?
I'm thinking, you know what? I had an idea now, but again, it'll take work. But I think, and technically, we can maybe do this sometime on Hanukkah. Would be nice. You take 3 days. 3 days of giving. It can be called with the same name, United for Geula, but this time it's Tzedaka for Geula, something like that, charity for Geula, under the name United for Geula. But how are you going to get it really promoted? You realize that the moistus themselves that want to be, in other words, we're setting up one website. The moistus that want to have an option that it can go to them, they'll promote it, let everybody promote it under this massive global, but they'll all promote it to their people. And you can give towards whatever Indian it is. But the Nakuda is, the Kavanah is L'Shem Geula. but everybody gets their own self-interest over there, so they're going to push it to their people, and then it can become really big.
I might disagree with you, Ruben.
Just a thought.
Because,
why?
Yeah, because then it's going to sound like just another gimmick for Kupa Suyeri.
I see. Mm-hmm.
And you're even going to get Chaim Kanievsky to come on this. That it's pure Geneva from all of the top. So I would stay away with giving to any institution, because it would simply sound another charity gimmick. So you want to say, no, you give it to whoever you want. You have a pushka in your house? If you don't have a pushka, we'll mail you a non-denominational pushka, a cardboard pushka that has no moises on it. But otherwise, especially when it comes to money, people are extremely cynical and not trusting, etc. So they always think, okay, what's in there? What's in there? I remember, I just shared this. First or second year I was here in Montreal Shtiches. I went to deliver Mishlach Manas to the Israeli consulate. That they were in a shopping center, in a big complex. I had a few of those boxes left, and I figured I'm sure I'm going to find some Jews in the shopping area, in the shopping mall. So I look at the store and I see that the guy standing at the cash looked Jewish. I come into the store before I even had a chance to say or do anything. He already opened up his cash register, takes out a $10 bill, and he hands me the $10 bill. I says, I'm sorry, I didn't come to get the $10 bill. He says, you're not getting more than this. I mean, that's all you're getting. He thought I'd come to negotiate. No, I don't want to have your $10 bill, and I don't want to have your money. So he looks at me and says, so what did you come for? It's the kind of clothing that I would not buy. So I said, so what did you come? I says, today is Purim, and I actually came to give you something. He looks at me and says, in French, he says, this doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist that somebody should come in to give me something. It took me time to finally convince him, not only I'm giving him one box, I'm giving him two. One for himself and one for him to give another person. Okay? So this is now a good 15, 20 minutes later. I explained Purim, and I went through the whole thing.
Then he asked what he wants.
As I'm going out of the store, he says, now what do you really want? So people become very, very not trusting. So therefore, I think if we just stay away from any moistus where it should be directed to, would be definitely healthier.
Okay.
By the way, since we're verbringen, let me continue the story on this. I got friendly with this fellow. Anyway, I came to put on film with him, and it was one of the most popular shopping centers in town at that time. And I told him, look, you have a mezuzah on your door. You should have a mezuzah. Nobody has a mezuzah. So you'll be the first one. Okay. So he said, do me a favor. Bring me one that should not be too noticeable. Okay? It shouldn't be too noticeable. Especially his store was right next to the information center. Literally. And so it was a very visible, very well-located store. So I said, no problem, I'll bring you something which is not very shrayadik. What did I do? I brought a mezuzah in a white plastic box. At that time, there was not yet the see-through. That's his model. At that time was the white one. White, simple, inexpensive box, and I put it in. Now, I have to say, tongue-in-cheek, I did it on purpose because his frame was black. So, the doorpost. So I come with this thing, and it looks at me like taken back. It says, you wanted something that shouldn't be so visible. So I decided to bring something that has no colors. He was embarrassed to tell me. Anyway, we put up the mezuzah and made the bracha, and I saw he was quite uncomfortable about it. That was in the morning. He calls me at the end of the day and says, and I was sure he's going to call me now, and he calls me up and says, can you bring me another mezuzah? I said, why? Somebody took it off? He said, no, I have to tell you what happened today. A couple comes in, a middle-aged couple comes into my store. And this guy is Spanish and he speaks French and English. fluently bilingual. And I don't know who they are, but I can hear from their accent that they're foreigners. I ask them, where you from? He says, they're from Israel. Okay, fine. Now, he was selling, how should I say, ladies' aggressive garment. Okay, let's put it this way. And this couple comes in, and he asks him, do you know where we can buy a fur coat? As I look at them, do you see what I sell over here? This is not fur coat types of clothing. Why did you come in to me to ask me that question? He said, because we saw the mezuzah on the door. So we realized you're Jewish. So we felt comfortable asking for something. He says, now let me tell you what happened. I have a guy who went bankrupt on me 3-4 years ago. He owed me a lot of money. And he couldn't pay back, so he gave me 2 brand new fur coats. They've been hanging in my store for 3-4 years. I sold them both. She says, maybe you can bring me another mezuzah. That was the day, mamish, the day we put out the mezuzah. Anyway, so the poem. So Amanda, you contacting Laser? Is that what we made up?
Yeah, I want to show you something very quickly. I had this idea a couple years ago. These are like the vials, they hold nickels. And I give them to people who have tefillin dafka. They keep it in the tefillin, and they don't miss a day giving tzedaka for Mashiach. Because over here it says Geula Tzedaka es Geula in English and in Hebrew. And it makes it so easy. You pop it out of here, you pop it in there. When it's done, you buy it back. You give tzedakah to anything you want, and you put the coins back in here. I gave out a few thousand in the last few years, but it could be a bigger project if you think it's a good idea. Inside, I put a paper that describes what the project is.
Interesting. That's a nice thing. I have, you know what, I'm going to go grab one and just show you how easy it is. Give me a moment, please, Anna.
Mendy and Abdel, did you see how the two of them left the same direction from their chairs at the same time? It's recorded.
I have a brief story that I could share. Nogay Parshas Noach, and you may not believe it, but it's a wild story.
No, say.
Okay. In 2000, I got an assignment to edit. Basically, it was somebody's project on the Teva. The woman who wanted it edited has her son, which is the author's grandson, and she wanted it out as a teshura. So the author was was an inventor and a shtickle engineer, and finally got a degree in engineering and a job in engineering. But he was absorbed, compulsive on the Noach. And he started researching and doing jobs, and towards the middle of the night, somebody started appearing to him and giving him directions on the ark, on the Teva, and commentaries and places to look up, etc., in a dream. This went on for a while, and the person said to him in the dream that if you want to know, who I am, you should go to Eretz Yisrael on this date in Tzvat, and you'll find a way to meet or to learn who I am. Bottom line is, this guy's idea, or the good thing is that the Teva is 600 feet long by 100 feet wide, right? It's 60,000 square feet of area on the first floor for 8 people, right? So the whole idea was that Noach was a farmer. It says he was a husband, so he farmed mamish the first floor. He didn't need 60,000 square feet. and dropped the food down to the animals. The schmutz from the animals would fertilize the soil. The soil would give off oxygen and water vapor, and he didn't need it. He was self-contained. So that was the idea. Needless to say, he goes to Israel after a lot of being sick and ends up staying someplace and doesn't even know where he's going. Ends up in a cemetery in Sfat, and he's shuffling because his circulation isn't good. Because in his 50s, 60s, finds a key. So Lamai says he takes the key. He says, at least I'll have a what do you call it from Israel? A souvenir. Anyhow, he runs to a shul. The guy is semi-frum. And he says, I'm looking for somebody. And he's coming to me in a dream. What did he look like? He said he didn't have a mustache. I know. So you met the Arizal. Because Arizal didn't have a mustache. He says, yeah, I don't know. Who's the Arizal? And he explains the Arizal shul. Nice. And then this guy says, this Joe Silver says, I have the key to the Rizal. I found it. And Taka put it in, and the key worked. So Lamai says, I have a testimony from the guy, the Gabbai of the Arizal Shul, that this guy Joe Silver has a key to the Arizal Shul. And that he came back, and bottom line is, I took all his ideas, I sent them to a marine architect. The architect said, I'm going to rip this into shreds. He didn't tell me this, but this was his idea. Then he started doing software about it, analyzing the guy's numbers, and he found that this guy wrote about it, passed every law, national and international, for an ocean-going barge, because that's what it is, a barge. And the point is, I wrote it all up, and I can send it to people if you want to see about it. It's it actually was on my channel. They did a brief segment about this guy and his version of the art. But it's interesting because many people don't realize that, like I said, it's 2 football fields long, so it's huge. And again, he only had 8 people on the first floor, so that's he had all that space. So what did you do with it? So this was his idea. Anyhow, so I can send it to Mendy, and you can if you want.
If Facebook ever comes back up, we'll. Oh,
all right. I can.
I mean WhatsApp.
You'll get it back. Vayera.
No, we can send the email.
Yeah, but Emma's story.
Beautiful. Bezusha, you're still on mute.
Yeah. So what do we? By the way, Mendy, what was the story with all the achlotus we said last time? Are we actually fulfilling it? The whole list? We had a laundry list.
Did I put it on the video?
You put it on the WhatsApp, Mendy. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's either the WhatsApp or maybe it was on this.
I put in the description of the video. And in the email, I think.
Anyways, we're speaking about a recap. You want to make a recap, no? What's the film? Remember holding? I came late.
We did speak about a couple of Ma'aseh B'Poel things today.
Okay, so give a shtickle recap.
Reuven?
We spoke about having a very strong Minatzchim presence at the Kinus Shluchim. So we're going to have a few people reaching out to the Kinus Vad to give us a platform, maybe even on one of the general sessions. We spoke about hopefully in addition to that, we should have a little brochure so that we can get Shluchim to join us. And regarding the next program, we want to figure out how to do we had a Torah campaign. We had like we spoke last time. We had a Tefilla campaign, and we should do a global Tzedaka campaign. Those were the thoughts we were dealing with today.
Can we ask, so that it should move a little bit forward, can we ask a label to make a little write-up for a brochure?
Tomorrow will be the next. I'm almost done down there. The only thing I got left to do is to clean.
Yeah, label.
I have.
Can we ask you to make a draft write-up for the brochure?
I can write up anything you want.
Okay. So make a draft write-up. Should be not too wordy. I think it should be at least wordy. Not too many words. It should be more with pictures of something, a racial design, a nice graphic design to give it, because nobody likes to read too much.
What's gonna?
What?
Let me.
I'm done. I'm the writer, not a designer.
Not a designer. No, he's yeah. So
No. We'll give it to somebody to design, but we have to give text, right? I think I once heard that Kissinger said that if you want to present something to Reagan, an idea should be no longer than what can fit onto an index card, because there's no more than this you can't concentrate. So I think we should keep this idea. By the way, I wanted to show you what Mandy, if somehow you can mail me a box of yours, I would love to see it. This Tzedaka box that you have. I don't know if it's possible to mail it. It'd be clumsy or racist, but if you gave out many of them, I guess it's possible. I wanted to show you what we do over here every week. The when they go to I have a little card.
Can't wait for the new coffee machine.
It's called the Tzedaka card. On top it says "A World of Good." For those who remember, there was one of those good cards. Just one more mitzvah, and there it says, "Into a pushka drop a coin or two." There is a design of a pushka, and it has a little slit over here that we actually put in a coin. We actually put in a coin, and we give it to the people when we go to Tzedaka for them to put it into their pushka. So this is the gun.
You have to hand the Tzedaka from Geula with that.
Yeah, it has Geula Tzedaka. We have two kinds. It says over here, I printed hundreds of thousands of those. I gave it to many Shluchim, so we have two. So one says, charity hastens the redemption. And then we have on top of the pushka, you have a choice. You have with Yechi or without Yechi. This one has Yechi on it. So, but I've had over the years, I printed this many, many years ago. And then in the back, there's a whole message. In the back, it says, the Rambam, the whole world hangs in the balance. One deed tips the scale. Might have a quote from a Rambam. And then what the Rebbe said to CNN, Mashiach is ready to come. All we have to do is add in acts of goodness and kindness. So it's a very simple, inexpensive card to print. A little slit to put in the coin. Now you can choose. You can put in a penny, you can put in a nickel, you can put in a dime, you can put in a quarter, you can put in a loonie or a toonie, whatever you want to put in. That's already whatever your budget allows you to give out. But we give out every week hundreds of those. And I have to say that Baruch Hashem, it did not, nobody can accuse me that it became a fundraiser for me, because I don't think I got one card back with money for me in all the years. So it is netto mivtzoim, no fundraising. But again, it's since you showed the idea, and this is I'm sure there is many ideas out there how to promote the mitzvah tzedakah, but something that we should think about.
Did we speak about any ideas about this charity thing? How do you want to do it with the online concert, place potato to somebody? Huh? Where are we heading?
We're not heading anywhere yet. It's just an idea that we thought that maybe this should be the next project that the Minatzchim should try to develop. That's how far we got now. And if Chas Yishalom noch sitzt in Golas noch in Kinus, this should be a project. Maybe even if the Minatzchim will get a platform to say, join this group, and this is one of the projects that we would like to launch. And all hands on board. The more people are involved, the wider it's going to go.
What do you think? What do you think of the theme?
Something concrete. What?
Cards. But I guess we want to do something that everyone does it right away. No. I give tzedaka together, huh? The tzedaka has to be done right away. You start thinking about donations, maybe in a year, 2 years. You know what I mean?
No. Why in a year or 2 years? We want to develop, just like we did United for Geula, we didn't work on it for a year.
Exactly.
One day, dedicating one day, or I think the movie said 3 days of dedicating that every person gives that day tzedakah specifically for the Geula.
Right.
That's the idea. And go with a massive advertising campaign and Lihavdil getting Goyim involved.
That's where we can bring the Goyim in. Charity is something is
right. Yeah. And we can get Goyim, some of those who are name recognition that might want to promote it. Right?
Even like you can do maybe something like we did for the Tefilla thing. You have all the personalities giving a charity, like on video, and saying something about that. So that's point. The talking point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we can even reach out to the UN. The UN should do an international day of giving charity for redemption, for a better world, for a perfect world.
Sounds good. To get Levi Shamton involved.
Levi Shamton is in Washington, but
Washington, right?
I'm sure that if we look out, we can get some kind of in with the UN